And just like that, we're kind of back. Matt and Jack here. It's Views from Section 400, the weekly podcast. You might be wondering where Brian is. He is down on his honeymoon after the huge wedding weekend down in the Cayman Islands. So we're hoping he's having a great time. We're holding it down here at Section 400, keeping the show alive, keeping the content alive. We're going to recap Brian's wedding a little bit, catch you guys up on the wild weekend it was, and obviously jump into the winners and losers, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, jump into a little MLB talk, and anything else around the world of sports that we want to touch on. But like I said, Matt and Jack here in this one, Views from Section 400. Regardless of who's here, you already know it's uninterrupted sports conversation for the entirety of the show. Jack, how you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. Glad you're still alive after that wild weekend.
It's good to see you too, Matt. I'm happy we all made it through a very eventful weekend. Shout out to Brian and Rose. So happy for you guys. Congratulations on being married. That's kind of wild that Brian is now officially married, but couldn't be more happy for him. Couldn't be more happy with how the weekend went. I mean, I got to see you. I got to see Will. I got to meet Will in person. See all of Brian's hometown friends, the Philly boys, and I got to see all my Auburn guys too. So War Eagle to all my Auburn guys that showed up and made the effort. Happy to see everybody.
Dude, it was absolutely unbelievable to have this whole world of goons, personalities, characters under one roof in the hotel, at the wedding, at the reception. 2-3 nights of just getting after it, having a good time, great people to be around. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. From Brock getting blacked out to showing up at the hotel lobby bar in a Luka Doncic jersey to watch Luka hit that game winner over Rudy Gobert to, you and I climbing on the roof.
She was like, how did it go? I was like, hey, sorry, I'm just being time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To everything else that entailed with that weekend, it was absolutely unbelievable. Congrats to Brian and Rose. You guys put on a show, put on a weekend. I almost wish we could have this as an annual yearly thing, getting all those people together, because it was an unbelievable weekend.
It was. And it all started Friday night. Drove my ass up 8 hours from Charleston, South Carolina to, Leesburg, Virginia, just a little bit west of D.C. Show up to that hotel bar, meet up with my boy Ducky. He's a big friend of the pod. Shout out all of our friends of the pod that were there that weekend. But met up with my man Ducky, met Matt 5 minutes later in the hotel bar. And by the end of Friday night, that hotel bar had zero Miller Lights left. We deleted their supply. My nightcap was a Blue Moon, which I honestly, after drinking Millers all night, was not a move. Did not enjoy the taste of that crafty beer. But yeah, we tore that place up, man. Shout out our bartender. What was his name? Fred. Yeah, Friday Fred. And then on Saturday, his name was Andrew. Right?
Those are the two names. I stuck with Fred the entire weekend. Hey, man, you come in, you tell me your name, and that's the name I'm sticking with. I'm not calling you Fred all Friday night and then rolling into Saturday, and I'm going to start calling you a different name. So I was calling him Fred the entire time. Not sure if you liked it, not sure if you didn't like it, but don't tell me your name's Fred on Friday and then tell me your real name on Saturday. It's just not how it's going to work. That was, and this is a quote from Ducky, who we called Grab Bag Fred. Was the bartender of the weekend. Quote Ducky on that one. I don't want to steal his thunder, but that was an awesome time. Fred put on a show behind the bar. We obviously put on a show on the other side of the bar. But it was a great time, great weekend. And I think that kind of propels us right into winners and losers of the week, because my winner of the week is going to be Brian for getting married. I feel like you'd be a little irritated if we didn't have him as a winner of the week. Definitely won the week. Put on, absolutely unbelievable weekend. Got married. Brian and Rose are the perfect couple, the perfect match. Two people who I couldn't be happier for getting married and just, getting set to live the rest of their lives together happily ever after. So winner of the week for me is going to be Brian. because he got married, like I said, I feel like he'd be pretty irritated if one of us didn't have him winning the week. But he surely did win the week, getting married, and obviously that's that phenomenal weekend that entailed for the wedding weekend. But yeah, congrats to Brian and congrats to Rose too. I don't want to leave her out of it. I guess I should say Brian and Rose. But nonetheless, Brian winner of the week, Rose winner of the week, the both of them, the happy couple, the newlyweds celebrating their honeymoon down in the Cayman Islands. Props to you guys. But now we get back into the sports a little bit. Loser of the week is going to be the Pacers getting swept out of the conference finals. I don't know if it's probably happened before. I don't know the last time it has happened. But come on, you make a conference finals and you can't win a game? You can't win one game in a conference finals? They have the talent to do it. I think they made the Boston look a little better than they are. I know some people might combat me on that. Fine. But Pacers getting swept out, eliminated in the conference finals, didn't even win a game. They had a shot to win game 4. They were up, I want to say 6, 7, 8 points down the stretch there. They blew it, ended up losing by 3. And now the Celtics make the NBA finals and the Pacers, swept out in the conference finals. Probably would have rather see the Knicks play Boston, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we all know how banged up the Knicks were at the end of their stretch, so that might be a hot take there. But look, the Pacers were banged up too. You didn't have Halliburton for the last 2 games of the series, which was huge. They were damn close to winning every single one of these 4 games. The Pacers could have won game 1, 2, 3, or 4. But at the end of the day, you got to play the full 48 minutes, and they didn't. They let games slip away at the end. And, as much as they're the younger team and the inexperienced team, I mean, you cut them a little bit of slacks. You got to give some credit to the Celtics here. They've been here before. They've done this. They were supposed to do this. They dominated the East all year. They dominated the run through the into the finals this year. I saw Mike Green, who was saying that this was a top 5 all-time playoff run into the finals. Had them up there with the likes of Shaq and Kobe. So, definitely have to give them some credit, but I'm with you, man. You get 4, you get 4 games. You can't win one of them. You're going to go 0-4. That's a tough look. They'll be back next year, though. They're young. They're super young.
Yeah, they'll be back is the best way to put it. We'll see if I guess because Siakam's due for a contract, so we'll see if they extend him or if he walks in free agency. Definitely probably going to Pacers are going to want to re-sign him if they want any shot of getting back to those conference finals and hopefully doing a better job of maybe winning a game. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Jack, who do you got for a winner and loser this week on Views from Section 400?
Yeah, my winner is going to be Auburn Golf. War Damn Eagle. Auburn Golf, for the first time ever, is going to be playing for a national championship. Gotta love it, man. I mean, the SEC is a great conference. Doesn't matter, what sport it is. You're going to get some good athletes out of the conference. And for the first time ever, Auburn's playing in the national championship. So I couldn't be more excited for that. I know you're a big golf guy. You going to ride the Tigers on their way to a national championship?
I didn't even know that it was going on, to be completely honest with you. But I'll root for Auburn. I don't know how that works. Is it usually just like they do it in teams, or it's like individual players, or?
Yeah, you play somewhat individual. You play individually, but you get a couple guys, per team. So there's an individual score and then a team score at the end, sort of like gymnastics.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming the national champion is crowned based on that team score at the end.
Correct.
That's how they're going to do that. Are they going to the national championship going up against a couple teams, or is it a one school versus one school matchup?
It's a great question. I wish I was able to look that up for you. I feel like it's 12 teams in the national championship, but
Gotcha. That would make more sense to have multiple.
Yeah, I believe there's only 12 schools competing, but I could be wrong about that.
Either way, congrats to Auburn. I'll root for them, but I got to see who the other schools are competing, because if there's a school in there that I like, that I love, I might have to switch to them. But congrats to the Tigers.
What if there's a McNeese State in there?
See, then that's going to move the needle for me, and I'm going to have to hop off the Tiger train and head on over to the McNeese State Cowboy train. We'll get to them in early December when the college basketball season really kicks off and we can start making some coin on them again. But whatever, this isn't a McNeese show. Jack, who's your loser of the week?
My loser of the week. I didn't know who exactly to pin this one on, but I'm just going to pin it on bad teammates. Obviously, Harrison Butker has been in the news a lot lately after his commencement speech. If you really want to get into the nitty gritty about that, go take a look at it yourself. I don't need to discuss what it is that he was talking about. But what I do want to highlight is the fact that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, inarguably the two biggest names on his team, arguably the two biggest names in the NFL, came out and said, specifically that they did not agree with what Harrison Butker had to say. And again, I'm not getting into what he said specifically, but just the fact that your teammate comes out and says something publicly, you can, if you don't agree with it, you can just keep your mouth shut. And that's being a good teammate compared to coming out publicly in the media saying that you don't agree with him, that, you guys have different opinions. I mean, you don't have to say anything. You don't. All you did is be a bad teammate, in my opinion. Might be controversial take. What do you think about that, Matt?
No, I agree, right? I mean, we don't have to divulge into exactly what was said, and thinking back on it, I don't want to say that Bucker's intentions of the speech were necessarily supposed to be bad and degrading. I mean, he was pretty emotional giving that speech and really giving a lot of credit to his wife, who held down the fort and allowed him to chase his dreams, and they created this credible partnership and duo that allowed them both to thrive in their own roles. So I think he was just highlighting that. But I can see how girls and women out there who work hard and try to establish themselves in a professional corporate setting or whatever setting that they try to establish themselves in. So I don't necessarily think he was degrading that aspect and saying, "Oh, you can't go be a power woman or whatever you want to call it. You have to go live at home and be the home and home taker, caretaker, whatever you want to say, at the home while the man works." I think he was just kind of highlighting his story and how he's been able to do incredible things from his wife, who's empowered him to do that. It might not have came off like that, especially the girls who there was a lot of backlash, and not only from girls, from guys and girls. So I understand that, but I don't think his intentions were necessarily hurt. He wasn't trying to be hurtful, but I can see where it was. But to your point, in bad teammates, and yeah, you don't need to come out and disagree with the guy and kill the guy. If you don't agree, just don't say anything at all. But in this day and age where if you don't say anything at all, that might mean that they do agree with them. So I think it was more just them protecting their own selves from the media and how they can spin stuff. Say it's at this player, Bucker's teammate, declined to comment on his speech, then the media, there's no rules and regulations and laws on what you can spew up and conspiracy theories and hypotheticals you can bring up and say, oh, well, this guy didn't say anything, so he probably agrees. So I think it was more them trying to cover their own butts to stay politically correct or whatever you want to call it in the eyes of the media and in the eyes of social media and that whole thing.
Sellouts.
Yeah,
Just
sellouts.
Sellouts, saving their own skin. I do
Essentially.
understand. I get your point, and I definitely think that that's a very valid point. It is very likely that that's exactly what was going through their head when they did make these comments. Here I am, not a professional athlete, not getting asked these hard-hitting questions, but is it really that hard to say, Harrison's a guy who has his own opinions and those are his, and I'm gonna do me. That has nothing to do with me, because it really didn't have anything to do with Patrick Mahomes or the Chiefs organization or Travis Kelce or anybody.
Yeah, it really didn't, which yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I mean, I don't think anything really is gonna happen, right?
No, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, so now we're going to jump into what's going on that everybody kind of cares about right now, right? And it's the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. We'll start with the NBA, and I kind of touched on it a bit with my loser of the week and the Pacers getting eliminated. But yeah, the Celtics did make the NBA Finals. Tatum has already made it. The Celtics have already made it before. Didn't work out. Didn't win. Jack, I know you're a Boston Red Sox guy, so that means you're probably a Boston Celtics guy. Are they going to win the finals?
I have zero love for the Boston Celtics. Absolutely zero love for the Celtics. I do like the Sox. Grew up a Sox fan, but when it comes to this NBA playoffs, I've been saying it from the start. The West is going to win it. The East is just so poor compared to the West, and the right team came out of the East, though. I mean, fairly, the Celtics dominated all season. Do they have a shot to win the whole thing? Absolutely. I mean, they have taken care of business in every game they've been asked to. I think they went 12-2 over their three series to get to these finals. So definitely very impressive. Doesn't matter if it's Luka and Kyrie. Doesn't matter if it's Ant Edwards and Rudy somehow coming out of a 3-0 deficit. I still think that the West is going to win it all.
Yeah, I'm still leaning the Celtics. I'm definitely more worried about the Celtics, as I guess I might have said pre-playoffs. I was like Drew Holiday, not worried about him, whatever. And I got to ride for the Sixers, right? What would I do? Come out and say, yeah, I like the Celtics, but no, I mean, look, they are the right team to come out of the East. I mean, they were the best team in the East all year long, especially the Bucks. No Giannis for pretty much the playoffs. Like that wasn't going to happen, especially with Doc Rivers too, a horrible coach. So not worried about them. But yeah, I mean the Celtics, right team to make it. Do they have a chance? Like you said, absolutely. But the Western Conference is scary, man. And Luka's putting on a show over there in that series, taking on the T Wolves. Now, the Timberwolves did force another game. They were down 3-0, then won that game 3-1. I want to say it's going back to Dallas. Or no, it's going back to Minnesota. And
Minnesota.
Ant already made the promise that he'll be back in Dallas. He told all the security guards he'll be back in Dallas when the series is 3-2 and they're trying to push it to a game 7. So he's 1-0 when he makes the promise to the security guards that he's going to be back. So we'll see what happens, but it could be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how the Mavs lose 3 straight now to lose the series.
Yeah, it's never happened before. 154-0 when leading 3 games to none in an NBA playoff series. So I don't think it's going to happen. I can guarantee you the Mavs are going to find a way to win one of the next 3 games. Probably be that game at home when Edwards is back in Dallas for game 6. But look, this team showed fight. Down 3-0, you're basically done with the series. Like I said, 154-0. A team's never came back from a 3-0. But Cat was the difference maker in this game, and he's been the highlight of why the Timberwolves haven't been winning, at least through the first 3 games. He's been missing a lot of shots, taking a lot of threes that he shouldn't be taking. Everyone's telling him he needs to drive more, but he really stepped it up in this game 4. After shooting 28% in the first as a collective from the first 3 games, he shot 69% from the floor. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive, almost 70% from the floor. Went 4 for 5 from 3, which was 80%. He shot 3 of 22 from 3 in the first 3 games. I mean, that's the difference maker right there. If he's going to be hitting shots 70, 80% clip, I mean, yeah, they're going to win some basketball games. And that's on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I know we came into this series and Edwards saying he's going to lock down Kyrie. That was a terrible idea. He was exhausted at the end of games, didn't have the offensive juice. He switched to Luka for this game, and it looked like the right move. Not only did Anthony Edwards have more juice to play on offense, scoring almost 30 points, he held Luka to 33% from the floor as the primary defender, which is damn impressive. We know how good Luka is, but Anthony Edwards was able to clamp him down, unlike Kyrie. So you have to be able to make these adjustments mid-series to come out and win a series, and no better time down 3-0. I still don't think that even with the adjustments, they're going to be able to do it. Dallas has to make one adjustment and win one game, and that's it. So I can't wait to see how the rest of this series, though. It's been one of my favorite series of the whole entire NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on what you said with Cat. I think you're absolutely right. He is that difference maker, that X piece, that whatever piece you want to call him. When he's not playing well, they're not winning. He steps it up. He starts playing well, hitting shots. He propels them over the edge. You have Ant Edwards. He's going to do what he's going to do. Mike Conley's going to kind of control the pace, control the flow, be that veteran guard. And then Cat's there to be that difference maker, game changer. If he's playing well, the Timberwolves will win. If he's not, we've seen it the first 3 games. They were down 3-0. So is he going to be able to keep it turned on and they're going to be able to win 3 straight to win the series? Probably not. 154-0 is a big number going against you. They're going to need him to step up if they want to flip the trend here that hasn't ever been done. So
yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to Mike Conley. If there's one player in these NBA playoffs that's left that I really want to get a ring, it's Mike Conley. Outside of Kyrie and Luka, because I love those guys too. I know Kyrie already has one, but for him to get another one without LeBron, for Luka to get his first, would love that to happen. But man, I would love for Mike Conley to get a ring too. So bad, man. Just an absolute NBA veteran, one of those presidential guys, Malcolm Brogdon-esque, just very, very composed, a Tim Duncan kind of guy, just very cool, calm, collected. NBA veteran that plays the game the right way, that role model for the game. Would love to see him get one, but still, he went down to 3-0. Don't think it's going to happen.
It's not looking good, but maybe we'll let Luka get his this year, and then Mike can try again next year with when Ant Edwards has a year of experience or a playoff run under his belt in terms of experience-wise. But, yeah, that's, kind of the NBA playoffs there. It's wrapping up. We're getting to very close to the final series. One team in the Celtics already punched their ticket. The Mavs, dangerously close to punching theirs. So we'll see how that series turns out. And I would guess probably we'll wrap up before or over the weekend, and we'll get into some NBA finals talk and conversation next week when it's looking like it'll be the Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. But I guess you can't call it until the fat lady sings, right? Is that how they say it?
That is what they say.
That is what they say. So we'll see. But yeah, jumping over to the NHL playoffs where we have the series are way tighter. We're not seeing teams getting blown out. No team has punched their ticket. And I'm not sure you can say, oh, this team's going to make it or that team's going to make it, right? Because you have the Panthers and the Rangers. Kind of the momentum's been swinging back and forth. Kind of favors the Panthers right now. Tied 2-2 going back to New York. Jack, I know you had them as your pre-playoffs team to win it all, future, so to speak. I'm sure you're feeling a lot better now that they tied it up. And, oh, by the way, they're favorited to win that game, I guess, 5 in New York.
Are they really?
Last time I checked, they were minus 120. So small favorite, but a favorite nonetheless.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I like to see that being a favorite on the road, but you said it perfectly. The momentum has shifted like crazy in this series. It started out with the Panthers and then 2 to the Rangers, and then the Panthers get the game 4 win in OT. What a great game that was. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that, but, it was kind of the classic Panthers game of this playoffs for them, this whole run. Started out slow. It was all Rangers in the first period, scored a goal early. And then period 2, finally woke up a little bit, scored 2 of their own. Going back real quick, after the Rangers dominated the entire first period, for them to only come away with 1 goal in that period, that's when I was like, this game is still there's still a chance. I mean, for them to play that well the whole time, have all that momentum, only get one out of it, it's going to switch. We see it in every sport. Momentum switches, it swings. Panthers go and get themselves two, give up a goal in the third. OT game, who doesn't love some OT hockey? I mean, who does not love some OT hockey? Very quickly on, though, Panthers get a power play opportunity. It wasn't like 60 seconds into OT before they get this power play opportunity, 2 minutes for hooking or some crap like that. I mean, I love it, right? I'm rooting for the Panthers. And then 10, 15 seconds later, there's a goal. So OT was not too much of a thriller unless you're a Panthers fan. But, dude, I'm just loving this playoff hockey right now. Like you said, momentum swinging. No teams are running away with it. Even though it's tied 2-2, it's going back to the Garden. Still seems like the Panthers have a little bit more momentum somehow, some way. So I'm just going to keep watching. And that's tomorrow night's game, yeah?
Yeah, so what we're about to get into, the Stars Oilers, that game 4, I believe, is tonight as we're recording. So the Oilers are looking to tie that up at 2 apiece. And if they do, we'll have 2 conference finals hockey series that are tied 2 apiece, obviously heading into that game 5. So no clear-cut winner on who's going to win, who's not going to win. It's so tough to say. The Rangers are a lights-out hockey team, and the Panthers are as well. So and even for East versus West, right? Like, I think any one of these 4 teams can win it all, right? I mean, any one of these 4 teams can win it all. You look at the NBA, it's like, all right, the Pacers probably not going to win it all. Celtics have a chance. Mavericks, somebody really thought the Mavericks would win it all. I really thought the Timberwolves were going to steamroll them. So you have no idea how it's going to play out. And I think that just makes for better hockey. And that's what I'm here for, right? I don't have a team any rooting interest. I would prefer not to see a New York team win if they can help it. And yeah, I mean, Dallas is going to be party town if it's the Mavericks and the Stars in both their respective finals. So I guess a fun time to be a Dallas fan, but not a Cowboy fan, as they're still figuring out what they're going to do with Dak Prescott. So hopefully they remain in turmoil. But
even the Texas Rangers got a World Series win. I mean,
yeah,
dude, Dallas is bumping right now.
It really is. So, yeah, I mean, look, you have 2 separate major sports teams going to the finals in the same city. You'd figure one of them will be able to win it all, right? I kind of make that as a joke as a Philly fan, as we had the Phillies, Eagles, and no one cares, but the Union made the finals, 3 teams. And nobody can pull it off. But we'll leave that in 2022 and early 2023 when the Eagles play the Super Bowl. But we don't have to jump into the shambles Phillies in. But, at least the Phillies are good. But
the Tampa, the city of Tampa, I feel like has the last – they were the last city to really go crazy with the championships. When the Bucks won with Brady, the Lightning, they won a chip or 2. And also the Rays. Didn't the Rays get one?
The Rays made the World Series in the Mickey Mouse year, which was COVID, but I believe they lost. They lost to the Dodgers in that the 60-game season, Fugazi. It was pretty Mickey Mouse. I mean, you can't judge baseball off a 60-game season. But
I was gonna say, damn, that's like the LA year then, because the Mickey Mouse year was the LA year. I mean, I guess that's getting with Disney World out in California and everything, but you got the Lakers winning in the bubble, and you got the Dodgers winning the 60-game series, 60-game season.
Yeah, I mean, you could essentially say that too, but yeah, I mean, look. Keep it on NHL. I have no idea who's going to win it all. Stars Oilers play tonight. I just think the Oilers always choke, and if the Stars win tonight, it's going to be a long road back for the Oilers. But yeah, real quick. I mean, as we're recording, people will see tomorrow when it gets released who's going to win tonight, Jack.
Glad you asked, Matt. I'm going with Edmonton.
Edmonton at home seems like a tough fade. Just to be different, I'll take the Stars just because I always know McDavid and Draisaitl choke. We'll see if it's this conference finals that they do it or if they, finally break through and make the finals. But that'll be to be seen. and then obviously Panthers Rangers tomorrow. It's going to be a nuts ending to these two respective series. So I just can't wait. It's some good playoff hockey right now.
Oh yeah, it is.
So yeah, I mean, just to I guess jump into a little bit of MLB to wrap it up. I don't have anything that crazy on it, but I did want to touch on, and again, Brian's not here, so I can really kill the Mets, but nobody's really talking about it, but you bring in this guy, Steve Cohen. He's going to overhaul the team, signing 40-year-old pitchers to $40+ million contracts a year. And, he's supposed to be this God figure, right? And this almighty savior who's going to come in, overhaul, spend money, win a ring. They kind of did it in year one, choked out at home to the Padres in the wild card series, and they've just been bad ever since. Like really, really bad. I feel like nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this, but the Mets are 10 games under 500. 10 games under 500, 15 and a half games back of first place in the NL East. 15 and a half. That is a lot of games. It's not even June, and you can say the Mets are out of the division race for the NL East.
Look, you say no one's talking about this, but I feel like we are. I feel like I hear enough out of you and Brian about the Mets and the Phillies and the NL East where I know that they suck. I'm pretty sure Brian came into this season knowing that the Mets were going to be one of the most dog shit teams in the league. To your point, to be 15 games out of first place. Is that what you said?
15 games 15 and a half.
15 and a half. Don't forget the half. 15 and a half games out of first place. Not even June yet. Opening day was almost yesterday, and we're 15 and a half games back. Tough time to be a New York Met fan.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm here for it. I'm loving every minute of it. Keep it up, Steve. You're doing a great job. But the other thing I want to touch on was today the Phillies had a little bit of more than a little bit, a pretty rough road trip. Dropped a couple games, still have a nice 5-6 game lead in the NL East over the Braves. The Braves obviously don't have Spencer Strider the rest of the year. Lost Ronald Acuna, torn ACL. He's gone for the rest of the year. I guess that could have been a loser of the week in itself, but I don't like the Braves. I really despise the Braves, but it's tough for the game of baseball to see such a character, personality, great player in Ronald Acuna Jr. going down for the rest of the year. I mean, I feel like that just completely takes the life out of that Braves team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big time player. It's like losing your quarterback. And I know the Braves are loaded top to bottom, but at the same time, Ronald Acuna is the spark plug. Spencer Strider, another big name. To your point, this is just not good for baseball. I mean, feel how you want. I know you're a Phillies fan. You hate the Braves more than almost anybody. Probably more than anybody. But at the same time, it's not good for baseball. I mean, even when the Phillies play the Braves, you still want to see Acuna get struck out. You know what I mean? You want to see that happening. It doesn't feel as legitimate without those guys there.
Right. And it's a superstar player who's now on the shelf for the rest of the year. So hopefully he gets a speedy recovery, and we'll see him back out there next season. But kind of what I was rolling on to with the Phillies is they had that rough road trip, scrapped out a couple wins where they could finally get the team back to South Philly for an upcoming weekend series against the Cardinals. And then, they play the Brewers midweek next week, who the Brewers are doing well. We'll see Rhys Hoskins come back to Philadelphia. That'll be a nice little reunion, and I'm sure he'll get a nice standing ovation. Maybe some booze trickled in there because that's just how Philadelphia is. But I think it'll be a warm welcome to see Rhys back in Citizens Bank Park down there in South Philadelphia. But just to touch on today, the Phillies did win 6-1. Castellanos 3 hits and a home run, so great to see him swinging a hot bat. But the Giants' Kyle Harrison threw up and in at Bryce Harper, like up and in, and Harper did not like that at all. Stared him down. Benches cleared. Might have been a little pushing and shoving. Definitely some words exchanged. It wasn't a full-out brawl. I won't say a full-out brawl. It was more the bench is emptied, the bullpen's emptied, and then it was just congregation in the middle of the diamond there by the pitcher's mound. But yeah, I mean, the Giants have had this like personal vendetta against Harper ever since I think it was Hunter Strickland threw at Harper when he was on the Nationals, drilled him in the hip. Harper charged the mound, and that was, I want to say, 10 years ago, maybe a little less, but it was a while ago. Again, Harper was on the Nationals still. So, yeah, I mean, Giants just let it go. I don't know if it was intentional today, but let it go. I mean, Harper's, he's not, you guys aren't even a thought in his head. It's classic San Francisco. I'm not going to get into the whole Niners, Giants, but it's just classic San Francisco. Bunch of scumbags, bunch of bums. I'm not worried about it. Like, just don't try and hurt our players. Like, you guys aren't relevant. You're not going to be relevant for a while. The Phillies are trying to win a World Series. They got a good shot at doing it this year. We don't need the up and in. We don't need throwing at guys. And look, Hunter Strickland hit him 10 years ago. I don't know. Harper comes up to the bat, and he gets boos all over the MLB. But, I mean, there was some serious boos out of the San Francisco crowd. I mean, Bryce Harper literally lives rent-free in San Francisco.
He definitely lives rent-free in a lot of teams' heads. I mean, he's been the figure of baseball for, like you said, almost 10 years now. I'm pretty sure his rookie year was like 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere in there. So, yeah, just about 10 years. I mean,
way earlier, dude.
You
He
think?
was like 2012.
I thought when we were graduating high school, he was just getting in the league.
Nah, dude. Harper debuted as like a 19-year-old rookie,
I don't doubt that.
and he's 31 now. So
Yeah, I remember him and Trout coming in at the same time.
that was 12 years ago. So yeah, like 2012.
12.
Yeah, 2012. He's been around for a while. That's why it's, we've seen him for the last decade plus, and he's only 31 years old. I think he would be in his late 30s with how much we've seen him, but it was just he debuted as a 19-year-old rookie and never got sent back down. He lived up to the hype.
12 years of wasting Mike Trout's career out in Anaheim.
That's what they're doing, continue doing. And look, Mike Trout doubled down on it by signing.
He
He could have got a fat extension contract, all the money in the world from just about any team in the MLB. So he didn't necessarily have to do that to get the big contract. I get it. He wanted to stay loyal. That's the team that drafted him. You want to play his career there. In terms of actually winning, he's just going to be that great player that never really won, put up the stats, did everything, but, to never get a ring and never anything really to come out of it other than just being a superstar player that never really won anything is unfortunately what his legacy and career is going to be.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just another Charles Barkley.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid comparison, I'd say. But that's kind of the MLB right now. As we wrap things up here, I did want to send a quick shout out to PGA Golf Tour. I don't want to say legend, but a guy who plays in the tour, Davis Riley, won the Charles Schwab Classic Open, whatever you want to call it, this past weekend. Beat the likes of Scotty Scheffler and a couple other of the big name guys. So he dueled it out, got the win. Why it's so special, I believe days prior, maybe a week or two prior, his sister had brain surgery. I think she had a stroke or a seizure. So a lot going on in his mind to then wrap around, turn around, play in a PGA tournament against Scotty Scheffler and everybody else, of course. But Scotty Scheffler, nonetheless, who's the hottest golfer in the world right now, world number one, and dukes it out and wins, beats him, beats the field, wins a Charles Schwab Classic. That's a lot to be thinking about when, your sister had brain surgery, seizure, stroke, the whole nine. So, yeah, I mean, props to Davis Riley for going out there and getting a win with, his head, pretty clogged up with other things. And I'm forgetting the guy's name, but somebody passed away on the golf tour as well, and I believe they were friends too. So he had a lot going through his head this past weekend. So to kind of put that all on the back burner and go out and win that tournament, I just think that's an unbelievable accomplishment. And it's sad that those other things had to happen.
And on that note, I want to give a shout out to Bill Walton. Rest in peace. passed away. NBA legend, NCAA basketball legend, was known as the Jerry Garcia of basketball players. Just a really fun guy. Wish I could have actually met him. One of those like broadcasters that you're like, damn, he would actually be pretty cool to meet. So shout out Bill. Great career.
Yeah, great career. But I think on that note, we can shut it down. It's Views from Section 400. Matt and Jack in a different episode. Hope you guys enjoyed because we brought the energy. Uninterrupted sports conversation. As always, we'll get the 4 and 400 on the next episode when we have the full crew back on. Other than that, I'm Matt. Jack, thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
You are now in the mix with DJ Savage.
War Eagle. Congrats, Bri.
Or damn Eagle. We interrupt this honeymoon, beautiful Wednesday night here at the Cayman Islands, because the Auburn Tigers have just won a national championship. And I know I missed the podcast today. I am sorry, but I'm here to say we're fucking Eagle. We finally won a championship that's not horse racing or horse competitions. We did it. Shout out Jackson Coffin. Fuck Virginia. Fuck Ohio State. Fuck Yale. Yeah, we beat those assholes too. Most importantly, fuck you, Jameis Winston. And fuck the Florida State Seminoles and your goddamn tomahawk chop. War Eagle. I'll see you on Sunday.